I think we can all agree that pretty much DAWs do the same thing, like across the board. But there is one feature that makes Logic stand out above the rest, at least for me, and it is the #1 reason that I switched from Cubase over to Logic. That is the Logic Pro drummer. It is remarkable. I think it's underutilized and not enough people talk about it, so let's talk about it. Now there's the easy and simple way to use it, which you should use it, but then there's also a little bit more advanced ways to tweak it, which I'm going to show you. So here's a little bit of the course that we're working with that needs a drum track. All right, so let's get a drum track on here. There's really two main ways that you can do that. We can go up here to the plus sign, go over to drummer, and then I can select the exact type of genre I want. Or usually what I'll do is I'll just right click, new drummer track, and then it's gonna throw a new track on there. So let's drag this over to the course, and let's just hear what we got already. All right, that's not quite the vibe that I'm looking for. So if I start to drag this around, you'll see the groove up here already start to change. Now I'm wanting a pretty low-key vibe on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just drag it down here to the bottom. All right, that's much better and low-key how I want it. Now, of course, you can go down here, you can change the hi-hat rhythms, you can change the kick and snare pattern, you can switch it over to halftime. You can do double. Definitely not the vibe we're going for. We can tell it to change the amount of fills, and you'll see again that that region up there is changing. Tell it to add a little more swing. That sounds pretty dope. But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to follow the piano track a little more closely. And so you can tie the whole rhythm to any track, which is so dope. So what I'll do, I'll click follow, and then I'll click here, and then I'm gonna go up to the piano. And then we saw that region change just a little bit. Let's take a listen to this. I really like that. So already we have a pretty good basic drum track that we created in minutes. Now, of course, we could go in and we could change the different types of beat presets. Another thing we can do is if you press Y to open up the library, you can still go up here, change the genre, you can change the actual style. It has different drummers for different genres, so you can go through and start selecting what sounds good. The default already sounded good for us, so let's just work with that one for now. So now let's say I want that little fill to end with a crash. It's so easy to do that. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag this over one little notch until I see the crash show up. Now the same thing, let's say that on the beginning of that drum fill, I want a couple toms to go into that kick. I'll take this end and I'll drag it over. And now we have a couple toms there. Well, that was a snare. Maybe let's go a little farther. So you can easily figure out where you want drums and fills. Okay, so now that sounds pretty good, but we're pretty limited, right? I have one volume slider in order to see how it fits into the mix. We can manipulate the specific portions of this drum set. Check it out. So when I press Y to open up my library, I can see that I have the SoCal kit. But if we move down here, we see there's producer kits. So I'll go back down to the SoCal kit, and producer kits have this little plus sign. And when I select this, we're gonna see now that there's a little down arrow next to my drum set. And now we have every single portion of that drum set that I can go add effects to. I can change the gain. I can manipulate this drum set however I want. And now I have all the mic positions I would have had I did a live recording of this drum set. Isn't perfect? No, but now I can absolutely produce this drum set the way I want with different effects. It is so powerful. Another thing that's pretty cool is, let's say that I pretty much like this rhythm, but there's a couple things I want to change. Maybe a triplet on the hi-hat or something. I can take this region now and convert it to MIDI so I can manipulate it further. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click the region here, go down to convert to MIDI region. I can bring up my editor window here, and now I can see every single MIDI portion. A triplet might sound good here. This won't be perfect, but we'll get the idea. And what we'll want to do is take down that middle velocity just a little bit, because a drummer would not do all three of those perfectly. I want that a little faster, so let's move those a little closer. Now we can go in and quantize those a little bit. Let's make those 30-second triplets. Not perfect, but you get the hint. Now we can go in and manipulate that rhythm exactly how we want it. You can see there's already different velocities in there. Logic has done most of the work for us already. Something I always struggled with when I first started getting into music production was the rhythm sections. So what did I do? Like a lot of other people do, I avoided it. So a lot of my early productions just had zero life in it. The rhythm section is so important and Logic makes it so easy. I would encourage you on your next production to actually jump into the Logic Pro Drummer and just really start messing around with it. I guarantee you're gonna find something you like, or something that will inspire you to actually just create your own rhythm, whether you go in and tweak it or not. So let me know in the comments below if you're gonna try it out for yourself. But until next time, I'm Phil. Keep creating music.